Today's podcast is all about the new BC flipping tax and is coming from a video that we recorded on our YouTube channel. If you want to check out the video and some of the graphics, it will be linked in the description of this video. Otherwise, you can just enjoy today's podcast. The new BC flipping tax is not just a problem for investors, it's a warning for everybody who's considering buying a home. Whether you're an investor, a homeowner, or someone who's just trying to survive the unexpected changes, this tax could hit you harder than you think. On January 1st, 2025, the BC home flipping tax came into effect. This tax applies to profit earned from selling a property in British Columbia, including pre-sale contracts, if the property was owned for less than 730 days. This tax was designed to sting people just like you. Well, maybe not you, I'm just joking about that, but it is designed to sting people who are addicted to property flipping, looking to make a profit. But it doesn't necessarily account for real life scenarios that might catch the average person like you and get you in trouble. If you're not prepared and you're not informed, this new tax could leave you trapped. You know what? Life happens. People facing job loss, sudden mortgage rate hikes, or even natural disasters could find themselves stuck with properties they can't afford to sell without massive penalties. Selling quickly to stay financially afloat may no longer be an option for people. And that's where this tax becomes really difficult. It could financially devastate people that are already in crisis. You only get one chance to buy or sell your next home. Let's get it right. I once was working with a couple who was looking to buy their very first condominium together. So they ended up buying into a pre-sale construction place that was due to complete in roughly about 1 year. Now, this was a new relationship. They hadn't been together a super long time. I believe it was maybe about 9 months or so. And unfortunately for them, the relationship dissolved before the contract ever came to fruition. And they found themselves in a position where they needed to sell the pre-sale condo they had just bought sooner than they expected. Now, these guys, they didn't do anything wrong. It was just a natural part of life and a relationship that didn't work out. But this is just one example under these new flipping rules where innocent people are going to be caught by the problems created in the first place with this new rule. Now, these weren't professional property flippers. These were just innocent people. And as a fact of life, relationships don't always work out. But they would find themselves caught in the middle of this new property flipping tax, and it would have been to their complete detriment. Before I share more on the types of people that might find themselves caught in the middle, it's probably important for you to understand how this tax impacts people to begin with. So here's how it works. If you sell a home in BC less than a year after buying it, you have to pay extra tax on the money you make from the sale. The profit is taxed as income and the rate is 20%. If you sell after the first year, but before the second year, the tax gets smaller over time until it reaches 0% at the 2-year mark. The government introduced this rule to stop people from flipping homes quickly just to make money. Now, you might be thinking two things after hearing this. Number one, good, we got people trying to flip properties. Go get them, government. And I hear you, I can understand that. The second thing you're probably thinking, well, you have to make a profit to be taxed. That is very, very true. But I would add that flipping a property can cost a ton of money. You have to account for things like paying real estate agents, lawyers, taxes. Flipping a house can cost a lot of money and it ain't cheap. You have to pay things like developer assignment fees. You have to pay for real estate services. You have to pay for lawyers. You have to pay a federal flipping tax. And now you have to pay a provincial flipping tax as well. All those costs could potentially take away any profits that you have made, but you've not only lost money there, you're also missing a chance to keep the house that you originally set out to buy and let its value grow over time. This means you're losing out because you're out of the market. And now I totally get it. This is good for those of us that don't want property flippers in the market, but I'm worried about those that might get caught in the middle of this for the wrong reasons. Here's the current list of exemptions in a nutshell. You may be exempt from this tax because of the death of an owner or a relative, household changes like birth or adoptions, employment relocation, significant health issues, divorce or separation, threats to personal safety, insolvency or bankruptcy, or property destruction due to unforeseen events. Each exemption requires specific conditions to be met to decide whether or not somebody might be eligible. And that in and of itself is where the problem is because there's holes in the eligibility. This flipping tax doesn't say anything about somebody who might have a new job opportunity in other areas other than where they purchased a property. That means that for somebody that has a new work opportunity, maybe somewhere else in the province or even in a different province or even out of Canada, you would not meet the eligibility for this exemption. What about like the couple in our story that separated, but they didn't have legal status? Those people would be caught as well. What about people that experience health issues, but they don't have the appropriate doctor's certifications, or they can't get the appropriate doctor's certifications as soon as they need them? We all know what healthcare is like in British Columbia right now, and hopefully it's improving, but it still takes a massive amount of time to either see a specialist or even go visit your family doctor. A really sad hole in this policy is for births or adoptions that don't materialize. Families that were planning on having a child and seemingly had everything going the right way, only to find out that the birth of their child regrettably doesn't materialize and absolutely everything in their world changes. The exemptions also talked about threats to personal safety, but there really is no thought around situations of threats to personal safety without immediate proof, which is probably more common than it's not. So what are a few things you can do to make sure that you do not get caught in the middle of buying a property where you feel the need to sell it and have that tax materialize, taking away from any gains that you deserve from being in the market and putting your money to work for you? The first is you want to understand the rules. The flipping tax applies to properties sold within 24 months of purchase unless you meet these strict exemptions. These exemptions, like life events or natural disasters, are limited and might not always apply. The second is you always want to have a financial backup plan. If you're buying a property, factor in a financial cushion. Don't ever assume that you'll be able to sell your property quickly without consequences. And number three, you're going to want to work with a knowledgeable expert. Navigating this tax could be tricky, and it's new. A small mistake could cost you thousands, so make sure to work with someone who understands the intricacies of real estate in British Columbia. I'm curious what you think about this new tax, and whether you think it's going to help with affordability, and whether you think there's going to be innocent people caught in the middle of it.
Hey, I want to thank you for listening, and we'll look forward to hearing you on the next one. Cheers.